There are so many cars that are an instant classic right when they come out in the track community. I'm talking the Miata, the S2000. And then there are cars that kind of come back around to becoming one of those go-to classics. I cannot wait to drive this thing. Oh, we're going this way. Pivot it in there. This is Matt Williams, and this is his 91 FC RX-7 13B Turbo, right?
Yes.
And Matt, I think most people in our community will know you from Honda Fit stuff.
Yeah.
You're pretty notable in your Honda Fit, but you've had this RX-7 for a very long time, and it's maybe new to a lot of us, but tell us about your history with this car.
Yeah, I've had it for about 17 years now.
Oh, wow.
It's been through a lot of different phases of life with me, kind of like a parking lot show car, then I found autocross, and then I found drifting, but there was never a particular class for it here.
Sure.
And the fits were just such an amazing time. For a team of RX-7 enthusiasts, having a couple Honda Fits around, really reliable, is a good decision. So I was doing that for about 3 years. I've had good success there. And then Gridlife announced Club TR. The way I read the rules, I was like, man, I gotta get my RX-7 in there because that's the right spot for it.
How much of this was already done, and how much of it did you have to do when they announced that Club TR was gonna become a class within Gridlife Time Attack? On the spec tire and all this stuff, you read like, oh, that's my class. What did you have to do differently?
It was pretty much just aero. I had spent a long time trying to have a reliable power plant, and yeah. I needed a real front air dam. I needed a little extra brake cooling, and then a functional wing on the back, not the foam factory deal.
What do you mean, they come with a foam wing?
Yeah, the factory wing is actually like shaped foam. People lean on it and it just instantly.
So what would you say is like the interesting stuff about an FC RX-7? Because you see FDs, you see all the, Porsche 944s even are more common than this.
For me, it's really simple. It's just its original shape. It's like that old school 90s door wedge.
The wedge,
It's just,
exactly.
Yeah, it's like they modeled it after a doorstop, Like when you drive it, it feels like a really awesome rear suspension design and what we had laying around front suspension design.
I mean, one of the features of this new Time Attack class is obviously spec tire. It is the Falken RT660.
It's a class maximum of 255.
Yep.
Luckily, 255 is like just the best thing for simply rolling your fenders and fitting them on an FC.
Sure.
Anything bigger than that takes a bit more work.
Are these even rolled?
Oh, they're a little bit. Just a little bit rolled.
So this is the same motor that came with the car, right? It's still
Most of it is. It has been rebuilt, and I'm a little bit OCD about it. It's not traditional race car, because I told you I was like a parking lot kid through and through.
Sure.
And then, I don't know, I still have to have the balance of performance and a little bit of aesthetics.
That is actually beautiful.
It's a 13BT Series 5 motor. It still has the Hitachi HT18 turbo. It's a factory turbo. Other than that, it's obviously completely aftermarket, front mount intercooler, cooling setup. Fuel system on these has to be really robust. So it's dual pumps, billet rails, large ID injectors, and then it's really just about tuning. You have to have a reliable ECU and a tuner.
Yeah.
I chose Haltech and Chris at LMS EFI.
So this is extensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I've been at it a long time, and every time something went wrong, I just tried to improve it the next round.
So you never have to do it again?
Yeah, but it's never that way.
You can try. I really appreciate you sharing this car with us. It's one of the most exciting cars that's come out here in the last couple of years. And I definitely can't wait to take a spin in it because I have never driven one of these cars. So
man, that's good to hear.
I can't wait to take it to the track. Appreciate you bringing it over here. Let's
Can't wait.
Rap, rap, rap. There are so many cars that are an instant classic right when they come out in the track community. I'm talking the Miata, the S2000. And then there are cars that kind of come back around to becoming one of those go-to classics. Maybe the 350Z kind of falls in there, the BRZ and FRS as they get cheaper. But for whatever reason, the FC RX-7 is just kind of an overlooked classic potentially. This is my first time driving one, so I'm gonna go get a feel for what this car is like. I cannot wait to drive this thing. Now Matt told me that this thing is a lot of fun on cold tires. It's happy to drift. He told me to just punch it coming out of the pit lane and see what happens, so maybe we'll do that. This thing's so much faster than I thought it would be. Oh, and we're still in the 90s. Okay. I think this car's a little unassuming. I didn't really expect it to be as quick as it was, especially just there. We'll roll around for a minute and kind of get acclimated to the chassis before I go bombing into anything quick. And the first thing I can tell you right away is we are definitely in the 90s when it comes to the steering and the chassis feel. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, I mean that in a in a decade way. You get so much more play in the wheel. Look at all this movement. You just gotta be willing to drive through that or you're not gonna be quick. It's a driver's car way more so than cars now. I think I'm having more fun than I should be, that's for sure. There's the brake pedal. And we'll bring it in. No power steering either. A lot of work. A little bit of brake lockup. Pitch it in, oh, bouncy, bouncy, and then we've got the power. I see what he means. Really got to lean into the rear end of the car. Rely on the grip from the back. Pivot it in there. I am going to throttle way too late for this car. To recalibrate my little brain. I haven't stopped smiling though. Tires are so progressive, playing with the chassis just enough that I'm not snapping loose when I do something wrong. You're watching me learn this car in real time right now, and the tires are giving me a lot of grace, I will say that. Let's finish this lap and then cool it down a little bit. So fast on the back straight. You told me to run out 4. We'll see what we can do. Brake at the 3. Actually get my downshift right. Whoa. So much more analog experience. All right, there's a lap. So give it a minute to collect my thoughts, but I can't remember really the last time I drove a car that quite felt like this. It's a different style, and it's a combination of so many things. It's a no power steering, a slower steering rack. It's a bunch of power with turbo lag, and it's just so well put together. I think I can really feel how much development Matt has done on this car. You see the little bit of pogoing from the rear end, that's the tire digging in, the soft suspension trying to get it to plant. And then you just got to kind of drive through it. I know this is a very similar sensation, what it's reminding me of, to driving a lot of EF and EG Civics that I've driven over the years. Those older Hondas that they have a very strange feel if you're not familiar with driving them that way, but you can just, when you know how they're supposed to feel and you know to drive through it, it's the kind of car that you become at home with, and the kind of car that is maybe a little bit challenging to get used to. And I think they don't really make cars like that anymore. I can't remember the last time I've been in one like that, for sure. Well, I didn't conquer it, but I loved every minute of it. We did a 1:39.6. I'll take that. I think Matt won the event this weekend with a 1:39.5, so I guess we did okay. Let's see if we can give this guy some fireball. Apparently, we got some fireballs. Cool. Man, there's nothing like a 90s, 80s, 90s car built right. It's just so much fun. Oh yeah, let's see. Those are some real ones. That's cool. Well done, Matt. Well done.